I'm Monty Nesbitt, horticulturist with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. Today I'm in Gonzales County, Texas, near the Guadalupe River, one of the many important rivers in Texas that's home to native pecan trees. Pecan is a state tree of Texas, and rightfully so. It's one of our most important native plants, supporting approximately 80,000 acres of planted pecan orchards and a vast number of residential and urban trees that provide food, shade, and wildlife habitat. The fruit of the pecan tree, which we call a nut, is special because of its nutritive value and unique flavor that you can find in pecan pies, ice cream, beer, spice rubs, and a host of many other culinary products. I want to introduce you to a special pecan tradition in Texas, the Texas Pecan Show. It's entering its 70th year with this coming 2020 pecan crop. If you have a special or unique pecan tree, or you believe you can grow really good pecans, then maybe competing in the Texas Pecan Show is for you. So what is the Texas Pecan Show? To understand what the Texas Pecan Show is, we have to start with the knowledge that pecan trees are native to Texas, and native pecan trees are very diverse. Every pecan nut seed grows into a unique tree with distinct nut and tree characteristics. Small, hard-shelled native pecans were what Native Americans and early American settlers knew. It took some purposeful breeding in the late 1800s and some luck of natural selection for bigger and bigger pecans to have been discovered and shared through the process of grafting. Today, there are hundreds of named pecan cultivars. Some started as native trees in the wild, some were developed by man's intentional breeding, others as chance seedlings in urban flower beds. Some are better than others, and the Texas Pecan Show is an event that brings that diversity of pecan cultivars in Texas together. Grafting is creating a new pecan tree canopy from living buds of another tree. It was the development of successful pecan tree grafting techniques in the 1800s that allowed pecan trees to be duplicated. All pecan trees purchased from nurseries as a named cultivar, like Pawnee for example, have been grafted onto a seedling rootstock. Here are two popular pecan cultivars in the United States today. Pawnee on the left, Kanza on the right. Pawnee is larger by requiring 15 fewer nuts to make a pound. It also has a higher percent kernel. Why would anyone grow a smaller nut that has a lower percent kernel? The answer is in diversity. Kanza is a useful pollinizer for Pawnee and other protandrous cultivars, but it also has superior scab resistance and consistently makes very good quality kernels. Think attractive kernels for a pecan pie. That's what you get with Kanza. The pecan industry is built upon many cultivars with different unique traits. In the Pecan Show, the goal is to compare Kanza to other Kanza trees grown by other individuals and identify the best among the natives, the variety seedlings, and the grafted cultivars like Pawnee and Kanza. We do designate a champion pecan by comparing the best Kanza to the best Pawnee. Judges determine subjectively that a 44-58 Pawnee is a better sample than a 59-52 Kanza by comparing kernel coloration, uniformity in nut appearance, freedom from defects, and other indicators of good quality pecan sample. Yes, though, it is possible for smaller nuts to win. The first State Pecan Show, a joint venture between the Texas Pecan Growers Association and the Texas A&M College, now known as Texas A&M University, was held in 1950 in College Station. It was an opportunity for pecan growers around the state to show or compare their pecans to those grown by others and have judges award champions for the state. Every show has a champion, which we might call the best pecan in the great state of Texas. The State Pecan Show was taken seriously with competition categories such as the heaviest pecan, highest percent kernel, most attractive, the best shelling pecan, best kernels, best sample of popular cultivars like Stewart, Success, Schley, Desirable, Mahan, Western Schley, Burkett, the best native. And our first recorded data where serious records were actually taken, it occurs in this 1953 Texas State Pecan Show. Pecan shows adopted rules for judging that required the entries to be weighed in the shell to determine how many nuts were required to make a pound, then cracked and shelled to determine percent kernel of the entry. As with livestock, pecan cultivars were judged against samples of the same cultivar grown by someone else in the state. Today, this is still the basic process for a pecan show. Soon after the state pecan shows had begun, county extension agents seized the opportunity to have pecan shows in some of the counties where lots of pecans were grown in Texas at the time. This included Eastland, San Saba, Gonzales, Guadalupe, Travis, and Menard counties. And we see in this slide the early growth of the pecan show. 1956, considered the largest ever, had 172 entries. That goes up to 180, 1958, 223 in 1959, 425 in 1960, 527 in 1962, and over 1,000 entries in the state pecan show in 1965. This was a very popular event among pecan producers in the 1950s and 1960s. The Texas Pecan Show has been an event that promoted pecan growing throughout Texas with local and state publicity. Once upon a time, Texas also crowned a pecan queen each year. And there have been pecan shows partnered with pecan food shows to provide education on the ways that pecans can be used in everyday cooking and baking. So we had pecans at the Texas State Fair and at other public venues in order to bring attention to the growing pecan industry in Texas in the 1950s and 1960s. Today, the Texas Pecan Show starts each year with county pecan shows. In 2019, we provided an at-large entry process to allow people to enter who did not have a local or near-local county pecan show to compete in. Winners at the county shows are combined with at-large entries at the regional shows, and the regional winners are combined for a state pecan show that is held in conjunction with the TPGA annual convention each July. How do we keep the pecans good all the way from November to July? The answer is that we refrigerate them or freeze them in January, box them up, and display them again, and rejudge them at the July convention. One of the great contributions of pecan shows has been as a testing ground for new cultivars. In Texas, private nurserymen like O.S. Gray and Nelson Hander found and introduced new cultivars. The Pecan Show was a platform for those to become visible, known, and tried by many pecan growers across the state. Additionally, the USDA pecan breeding program, headquartered in Brownwood, Texas, made a series of new cultivar introductions that created new interest, with these new cultivars having maybe a bit better shelling percentage, kernel characteristics, and productive traits. The USDA pecan breeding program is devoted to cultivar improvement through crossbreeding of cultivars to improve production and nut quality, decrease pest and disease problems, and reduce the impact of alternate bearing in pecans that continues to challenge the stability of our global pecan supply. On this slide, we see that Pawnee, released in 1984, was a cross between Mohawk and Starkeen Hardy Giant, made by the USDA breeders in 1963. With the exception of Barton, the USDA's first pecan cultivar, all other cultivars were named for North American Indian tribes as a respect to the people who first identified pecans as a valuable and life-sustaining food crop. From 1974 to 2009, there were approximately 14,000 pecans entered into the State Pecan Show in Texas. Credit for the continuation of this program should be extended to Dr. George Ray McKitchen, former Extension pecan specialist who made the show a well-organized and trusted program. He published annually a Texas Pecan Grading Handbook, instituted regional judging in 3 or 4 regions in the state, and began computerized county, region, state system of tracking entries in 1990. McKitchen developed a team of county agents, specialists, and growers to keep a consistent system in place. This program had a lot of loyalty and trust in the way that it was organized and run by Dr. McKitchen. Bright cream-colored kernels denote high oil content, which is valued by pecan consumers and thus people who buy and sell pecans. Some cultivars have greater tendency to produce cream-colored kernels, and they have been judged favorably over the history of the Pecan Show. The Pecan Show has helped growers push the limits of cultivar performance. Certainly within the native class, we have a category for who has the lightest, and that has exceeded 1,000 per pound in the history of the show. On the large size, the heaviest pecan on record in the Pecan Show was the Podsednik, weighing fewer than 19 per pound, with 52.6% kernel, entered by John Robertson in the year 2000. The heaviest pecan not a Podsednik was a Mohawk at 24.4 per pound, 57.6% kernel, grown by the Wimberly & Sons in Travis County in 1982. The Texas Pecan Show validates pecan growing throughout the state of Texas. We've had excellent pecans produced in all of the regions throughout the state of Texas. Some years it's better in the east, some years maybe better in the central, but we find excellent high quality pecans no matter how difficult the year may possibly be. The Pecan Show test markets new pecan varieties or cultivars and provides feedback on their performance to growers, extension agents, and pecan researchers and breeders. It helps identify and reveal valuable genetic diversity in natives. We have over 1 million natives of pecans in Texas, and we're still discovering fantastic and interesting selections in this valuable genetic resource. Pecan Show teaches a large number of people how to identify pecans properly and grade them for commercial marketing. The best growers are identified and rewarded for their devotion to growing pecans. If you'd like more information and like to enter the Pecan Show, you can visit the Texas Pecan Growers website, or you can locate your county extension office and contact me, Monty Nesbitt, for further assistance and answering of questions. Would you like to have your pecans judged along the very best in Texas? Even if you don't have the best, there's much to learn from the other men and women who grow pecans in this great state. You'll find they have a lot to say and share about growing these challenging but rewarding trees. All you need is a 40-nut sample of any one cultivar. It could be a native, a seedling, or from an improved grafted tree. They just need to be your pecans and be from the current crop year. You don't even have to know what they are. We will identify them for you, and it costs nothing to enter. Just contact your local county extension office or the Texas Pecan Growers Association, and you can be part of the show.